to Springboard of Virtual University. My name is Albert Ocran. Welcome you to Ghana's foremost developmental program and that place where the greatest minds in the world converge. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation and proudly sponsored by MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and powered also by the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and the Springboard Roadshow Foundation. Our media partners are the Multimedia Group and the Graphic Communications Group. So Monday the 12th of August is International Youth Day. And the theme for this year, interesting, from clicks to progress, youth digital pathways for sustainable development. Very interesting dimension to young people and their issues. In line with this theme, the MasterCard Foundation and its partners are focusing deliberate conversations on empowering young entrepreneurs through digital skills and innovation. What are the young people doing in these spaces? How far have we come on the journey of getting young people to think big, do big, and move big? I have two exciting young women in the digital and agribusiness space here to help us know just how far we've come and how far we want to go with this journey. Anisa and Judith will introduce themselves and give us a sense of what is happening in their space. Let's start with you, Anisa. Your name and what you do.
Okay, so my name is Anisa Danso, and I am a web developer, a graphic designer, and entrepreneur.
How exciting is what you do?
So exciting, super exciting. Having to build websites from scratch, designing flyers, invitation cards, and then having my own skill of braiding, which I didn't go into any sort of formal training. It was just a natural talent, I guess.
Did you say braiding?
Yeah.
As in braiding hair?
Yes, please.
And what has that got to do with websites?
So that was the first thing I was doing. I mean, that was my go-to activity in uni to sort of earn a livelihood. And then I later got opportunity to do web development, and I became a web developer.
So you have two streams of income: the income
Yes.
from websites
Yes.
and graphic design,
Yes.
and the income from braiding.
Yes.
So can I bring my head for the braiding part, or my sakura head?
Unless I give you a wig to wear.
A wig. Mm-hmm. So, ladies and gentlemen, next week see me in the wig with braiding done by Anisa. Let's come to you and your name and what you do.
Okay. My name is Judith. I'm Akwetey. I work with AgriMercab. I currently head productions at AgriMercab. So we transform organic waste into animal feed and fertilizer.
Serious?
Yes, using insects, particularly the black soldier fly.
Oh, wow. No, hold on. You're talking like in a science lab. Chemistry lab. Break it down from my understanding.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that we use insects to decompose organic waste. And in the process, the larvae of the insects are rich in proteins. So we can use that in feeding animals. And as well as in the same process, the larvae, how should I say, they defecate, for lack of a better word, yes. And that residue is also rich in nutrients that can be used to fertilize soils.
Wow.
Yes.
We'll talk about, such a scientific process, how you came about it, because I'll tell you what, in school, science labs, it was great, but it was so disconnected from our reality that we did them as requirements to pass an exam. And I would never think that some of those, and I'm thinking of my chemistry master's in the which I can't mention, and how some of those experiments were never seen as something that could potentially translate to real life solutions. So who pays for what you do?
Okay, so currently we are being funded by the Cosmos Innovation Center. They gave us our first grant. So that's what we are currently working with. But we are trying to get to a place where we can gradually start funding our own selves.
We'll come to what the critical success factors are for scaling up from the funded experimental journey to an everyday product. How do you feel about the fact that you are doing this?
To be very honest, in the beginning it was confusing because
Tell me.
it's not what I started out to do. Like I said, I studied agriculture in the university. I was trying to pursue a master's, but due to COVID and other things, it had to like be halted. So while I was at home, a friend of mine just contacted me and said, "Oh, Judith, we are running this. We'd like you to join us." So I said, "Okay." He didn't give me the full details initially, so I got there and I realized that okay, we are going to have to be working with, in quotes, gogome, that's worms, the larvae.
Yahoo.
Yes. And I was confused. I was like, Luther, what's this? Luther is our CEO. I'm like, what's this? And he said, this is what we are
He's
doing.
also a young person.
Yes, he's also a young person.
As
Very
crazy
young.
as you.
Yes, you can say that. So in the beginning it was crazy, but gradually, having to work with the insects, the larvae, being around waste, all the things, smell, that. I can say that now I'm comfortable.
Wow. And you are not in charge of production. Yes. From wow to production. That's the book. Please, a book is coming out very soon. Written by Judith Akwetey on Judith Akwetey. What's the name of Aram?
He has blessed me.
It's done a beautiful description of your story.
Yes, actually, it is.
When you move from A to that's a blessing. So we'll come back to your story and find out what are the critical success factors. But this conversation is about International Youth Day. A day set aside to throw light on young people. All my life, that's what I've done, and I feel so blessed and privileged to have you two sharing your beginnings, your story with us for the benefit of our millions of viewers and listeners and out there. Let me come to you, Anisa. Why is it even important to have an International Youth Day in the first place?
I believe youth are the future leaders. Just as we often say, youth have the energy, the vibrancy, the enthusiasm to do work. So why not celebrate them for the little efforts they make, right? Because it will go a long way to empower them, boost their confidence. They feel like, oh, okay, I'm making some impactful contribution to society. So if my efforts are being recognized, then I know I'm doing something positive. So setting that day aside to celebrate youth for the milestones they've come, to share their stories, which will serve as motivations other people to see that, okay, no matter what they're going through in life, their setbacks are not defining them as individuals, but rather they can come out of it if they make the efforts, and then they can also have their own success stories like ourselves here.
Wow. Yeah, interesting thing. You are still in this chair that has been occupied by vice chancellors, founders of institutions, some of the biggest CEOs in this world, and the whole world is listening to you tell your story. You must be feeling very good.
I'm very excited.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Let's start from the beginnings and let's highlight Anisa, your story. I mean, Judith is talking about Agric and Masters and COVID and Gogomi. These are chapters of the book she plans to write. Let's come to your story, Anisa. Is there any drama in yours as well?
There's been several dramas.
Let's talk about them.
A lot of dramas.
Where did you set out going? Or what did you try to do initially?
So, I've come from a pure science background from senior high, and then uni, you want to do something different. I wanted to pursue engineering at first, but I wasn't given the opportunity. I was given my third choice, which was environmental science. At first, I was disheartened, but then my uncle encouraged me that you don't know what will come out of it.
Shout out to you.
So I set out to pursue it, like something I actually loved, and lo and behold, I did develop an interest, not necessarily in environmental science in general, but in an aspect of environmental science, which is environmental engineering. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is also engineering, right? So why not make the best out of that study and maybe later in life pursue a specialization in environmental engineering. So, university lifestyle already, it's not easy, especially when you're coming from a background where you weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth. So you have to fend for yourself. So it was like I shared early on, the braiding skill started from there. I mean, it started way before that because growing up, it was something that I used to practice on my own hair. So my big
She have come
sister.
with braided hair today.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, no, but that's not just what I do. I also do wig caps like the one I'm wearing.
All right, so
I
this
did
is
it
your own
myself.
product.
Yes.
Okay, then that's fair.
So my big sister encouraged me and said, "You're in the university, you could easily make money from that." And she actually bought my first set of products.
You mentioned her name. She's listening. And
Oh, Red One if is Danso.
you know that 10 seconds mention alone, she'll forgive all your sins.
Yeah.
So she bought my first set of products, and I set out to do it. I started with my friends doing their hair for them, and then gradually it became a big business on campus. You get people calling you. So it was a bit of a struggle, juggling between studies. I was in my final year to then project work, but lo and behold, COVID came, and then we had to do our studies online. So a few of the students who were on campus, I was still sort of fending off from them. So from there, you get out of school, you do your national service, which is mandatory, but it wasn't really in line with my field of study or the engineering part I wanted to pursue. And then I was just there. A friend texted me that, "Do you want to be a web developer?" I said, "Oh, I'm eager to learn anything."
Wow.
As long as I get to do something and not just sit idle. Of course, I was unemployed then. So he sent me the link and I applied. And this was a program being organized by Generation Ghana in partnership with MasterCard Foundation and Miss Africa. And it wasn't easy, the recruitment process, being questioned, the interview and all that. And out of 3,000 people who applied, there was only 40 people selected. And I was among the few that were selected, and it was a vigorous study, like really intensive. You're learning both front-end development, back-end development, like it was really packed. And that's how I became a web developer.
Do you have a middle name like his?
Yes, I do.
What's a middle name?
Abna Nsaba.
Abna Ansaba. Abna is a Tuesday born, just like me. What's the name of Ansaba?
It's a fancy name. I was named after someone.
Wow, Abna Ansaba and then Aram. So you set out, and once again, you're hearing a story of COVID, the common factor between the two of you.
Yes.
There's something about COVID that you're exploring.
Yes.
You set out on a journey.
Yeah.
Engineering, in school, they used to say engineering or suicide, or medicine or suicide. And it was all about engineering. And then along the line, you end up doing what you called your third choice, but which became the centerpiece of your career progression.
Yeah.
What did you do differently from people who get a course they don't like and never ever recover? What do you do differently?
I guess I listened to my uncle who motivated me, my mom who kept telling me, you never know where you're going to find yourself someday. So if you have the opportunity, first of all, consider yourself lucky to having been offered a program. So take advantage of that opportunity and see how best you can utilize it to your own needs, to your own pursuits. So you've been given lemons. What are you going to do? Are you going to grate it or chew it or what? Turn into something that will benefit your own self. So that's where I thought, okay, fine, then let me focus on learning it as if I actually got what I wanted to learn. And then I found my passion there.
And that is probably your word to anyone who's been given a course you don't
Definitely.
like. I hear people say, that's what they gave me. That's what they gave me.
Yeah.
You are doing the course, and you're sitting here, you're still saying that's what they gave me.
But you actually chose it because she said it was her third choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
That means that she was hoping that this is something I could do. So you were still giving
Honestly,
her to
I chose it
I
out
like
of
when you
choosing
process.
faith.
You are like finding the needle in the haystack.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to get either my first or my second choice. I didn't think third choice would even come in.
I understand.
That's interesting. If you just joined us, this is Springboard, your virtual university. It's an International Youth Day special edition. We'll come to technology in the second part of the program, but I just want to get to know my guests, their motivations, their journey, their joys, their pain. And they sit here representing millions of young people. And I'm sure that even as they see their story, you say, yeah, me too. Mine was a 7th choice. Don't worry, we'll get time for yours as well. And my guests are Anisa and Judith. And they are telling me about interesting things they are doing in the space of technology, innovation, agripreneurship, and everything in between. Anisa designs websites, does graphic design, and she does hair, braiding, wigs, and everything. Let's come back to you, Judith. So yours is a beautiful story about Gogomi and Cosmos. And by the way, we brought Cosmos in here. We brought Mest in here. We brought Cosmos in here as part of our partnership with the Mastercard Foundation to explore what they are doing with the young people. And hearing what you say, it's obvious that for both of them, they work with partnerships, not with individuals. What would you say? Considering that in your instance, what's his name, the name of your CEO? Luther. In your case, was partnership a helpful, or has it been a helpful thing for you in finding your space and operating in this space?
Yes, I believe so. Because if I hadn't partnered, or if I hadn't been invited to come on board, I don't think I would be doing it. Oh no, not at all. I'll probably be doing something else. But yeah, I believe it has helped, right? It's in the process. So let me say it this way. When we started out, like I said, it was confusing and everything. But I feel like, in a way, there were certain things that I learned through the process. That,
through the confusion.
Yes. There are so many skills that I got to develop. There are so many things I got to understand. And right now, looking back, I feel like, wow, I never would have imagined that I would be in this position and have learned the things I have learned.
Share some with us.
Okay, so let's say for starters, I wasn't a reader, in quotes. I didn't like reading. Even though, I think when I was younger, yes, I did. But growing up, I packed that aside. But then coming on board, I realized that no, some of the things, for us, we have to learn a lot of the things that we do. Even though, yes, there were programs that we could apply for, most of the things were not giving us as much detail as we would have wanted. So we had to read and read and read, research, find out things by ourselves. Another thing was pitching. So like you mentioned, for the Cosmos Innovation, for MEST, all those things, you have to pitch, you have to present your ideas in a way that those who are going to give you the money will understand. And even right from uni, I did not have any business with standing in front of people to talk at all. Even with my own undergraduate, thesis presentation. The way I struggled with that thing. But yes, but then coming here, I realized that no, it's like a norm. We are always pitching for something, presenting for something, and you cannot shy away from it because it's a team. We are all having to play a role. So that's one of the things that have challenged me the most. But I'm grateful that now, at least when I stand before a group of people, I'm able to confidently, present the ideas that we are doing.
I feel like clapping for you. I'm just this is very inspiring, eh?
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to give you, look into this camera. The whole world is watching you. Sell any idea, whether it's about reading, about the importance of pitching. Just look into this camera with the whole world watching you and pitch for a minute. Maybe the importance of learning how to pitch or the importance of reading. Anything that is on your heart. This is Judith Akwetey. Judith Akwetey. Well, a round of applause for Judith Akwetey. Judith, look into the camera and let's do a pitch.
Okay, so to everyone listening to me, I understand that reading can be very difficult. But one of the things that I would say is that there's a lot of information hidden in text, in pictures. So I will encourage you to, in as much as you can, make reading a habit. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, make sure that you are reading, you are learning. And one of the things that reading will do for you is that you will be developing your mind. Sometimes you can be reading anything at all, but then you find yourself somewhere and realize that, oh, I read this thing maybe some months ago, some years ago, and I'm having to apply it. So I'll encourage you to make reading a habit.
Oh my goodness. We're out. Charlie, I celebrate my grandfather who bought books. He had a chest full of books and he insisted that we should read from King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table to Iliad, Odyssey.
Yeah.
Hey, Now you are making me see that he didn't cheat me at all. How does it feel, knowing that now you have this skill?
It's amazing, I must say. It's really amazing. Like I said, reading wasn't something I like. Maybe I'm just then I decided I'm reading. No.
Let me come to you, Anisa. I mean, I'm of the school of thought that sees communication as literally everything, no matter the field that you are in.
Yeah.
Tell me about your own journey, especially in the area of comms, and why, no matter the field that you find yourself in, it could be a game changer, if that's what you think.
Yes, I really support that thought, because even in the field of web development, what people think is just about sitting by your PC and just typing things and writing code and all that. But it goes beyond that, because you are dealing with somebody, right? You are doing something for someone, so you're communicating. You need to know what a person wants, because you need to deliver exactly what they want so that they can recommend you for other gigs. Also, in some case, maybe you have a big gig, you have to work with teams, you have to collaborate, you each have to bring your ideas. You might argue sometimes on certain things to use, certain frameworks and other things to use, but then key amongst that thing you are doing, amongst that collaboration, is communication, because it's the foundation of everything. You need to decide. Once you have a unified thought, then your actions also becomes unified.
There's something about communication. When you feel you are doing it right, you just come alive.
Yeah.
So to be fair to you, I gave Judith a chance to do a pitch. So let me give you a chance to do a pitch. And this time, a direct pitch about why they should come and read their websites with you. This is the only show that will give you a chance to sell your products to the whole wide world for free. This is your gift on International Youth Day edition of Springboard University. So Anisa, Danso, look into this camera and tell young people, businesses, corporates, international agencies, how did they find you?
Oh, you can locate me on LinkedIn, Insta, Twitter. I can put my number on board if you want.
My goodness, look into this camera and tell them why they should do their websites with Anisa Danso.
I believe that I have so much to offer, and I would love to work with anybody who wants to work with me. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. So the name is Anisa Danso, but on Instagram and Twitter is Amy_Dan. So EAINE_DAN.
Underscore. Thank you very much, Anisa and Judith, for this point about pitching. Let me come to you. I'm going to come back to you, Anisa. From the perspective of somebody who's gone through a very rigorous program of preparation, if I ask you what are the top three skills anyone would need to do well in business, no matter what they do, and I'm going to come to you for your perspective as well. What would you say the top three are?
Top three
skills you need to do well in business.
Okay, so I think I'll start with self-development.
Okay.
Invest in yourself. Take the time to learn as much as you can. Improve yourself in whatever way that you can. Because you are the first point of call when it comes to your business.
Okay.
Before anyone talks about your business, they'll first have to see you first. So, self-development. Number two, I'd say network. Have a circle of people that you can easily connect to. You can't run a business by yourself.
Okay.
Yes, you need to work with people. So therefore, do your best to network and network right. Look for people who are doing what you're doing.
Is there something like a wrong network?
Oh, okay. I think sometimes, maybe it's not wrong, but maybe people just approach people in any way, right? You may just, maybe because you say network, so you just say anybody, oh, hi, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. No, like I'm saying, find people that probably are in your space.
So targeting them.
Yes, you target them. Yes, you go after them. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the third one?
And then the third one, I'd say, believe in what you're doing.
Right.
Have passion for what you're doing.
Believe in passion. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you wrote a book, three things that anyone might. You see, I'm sending you.
I like how
constantly reminding you that one day you write a book. The day you write a book, remember that I told you.
Yes.
Right here on Springboard Adventure
It's
University.
true. Yeah.
Powerful. So belief and passion will be your number 3. Number 2 will be networking, and the 1 will be self-development. Let me come to you, Anisa. If you met with your colleagues in the old school hangout or young entrepreneurs forum, and they asked you, what will be your 3 non-negotiables for any young entrepreneur to do well? What would it be? Number 1?
Number 1, communication and collaboration. You should be able to come out of your comfort zone and work with people. Because if you are always kept to yourself, you never grow, you never learn, you never gain any new sets of skills to use to your advantage. The second thing is time management, which is very, very important because the completion of any project usually has a time frame. So if you don't juggle amongst the various activities you're supposed to do and assign specific timelines to each, you're always going to be crowded with a lot of activities, and most often you find that young people become so overwhelmed with a little thing. It might be like a small task, but because they didn't schedule their time and align their tasks well, they become so overwhelmed. And then the third thing I would say is having a growth mindset. It's one of the key concepts I learned at my time at MEST. So when we say growth mindset, I like to think that as an individual, you should see the end in the beginning. You shouldn't just set out to say, oh, okay, I could say I got the opportunity to do web development. I don't see any future prospect with me doing anything with it, so I'm just learning because it's an opportunity. No, that's a wrong mindset. But then to see how that opportunity, like I was sharing earlier, how it aligns with your desires as a human being, how it aligns with what you want to do with your life. So if you don't see any symphony between these two things, if you don't see any correlation between them, then you are literally wasting your time. Like you keep doing this will pop up, then you do it. This will come, you do it. Like you're just wasting your life, literally.
I like it. I always say it for me. I hope you heard the words symphony and collaboration from Anisa Danso, trying to show you her 3 top points. So if you just joined us, welcome to a big conversation with my friends Anisa and Judith, trying to show us what their non-negotiables are for every young person who is an entrepreneur. And from Judith's point of view, it's self-development, networking, and then belief and passion. And then from Anisa's point of view, number 1 is collaboration and communication and collaboration. Number 2, time management. And 3, a growth mindset. If you haven't learned anything and you joined us a couple of minutes ago, at least you have a framework or a basis for these ideas. Are these applicable only to entrepreneurs, or those working within organizations as intrapreneurs can also apply them?
Yes, they can. They can. Then they should. They should.
They can and they should.
They can and they should.
Self-development, networking, and then belief and
they
passion.
Should. In fact, they must.
They can, they should, and they must. I like that.
I mean, they are just skills that cut across everywhere you find yourself. I mean, it should be something that is part and parcel of your life as an individual. You should just have these skills at the back of your mind. Not that I find myself working here, so I should have these skills, but it should be something that should be part of you.
When I come back from this break, the big question to my 2 friends who are being an amazing blessing to us in this conversation, and to you out there listening, all of you, millions of young people, this is a young people's our day. Let's ask this question: the things you learned in uni, the things you learned in school, and the things you learned after school, which one is bringing you more money? It's a serious conversation. In fact, my guest will give us the answer, but you out there, simple question: the one you learned in the lecture room and the one you learned after the lecture room, which one is bringing you more money? You said this is Springboard, your virtual university, the International Youth Day edition. It's the day when we amplify the voices of young people. And for those who have erroneously thought that our young people don't have ideas, don't have the drive, don't have the entrepreneurial aspiration, my 2 young people here are showing us that there is so much we can learn if we tilt our ears a bit more in the right way, in the direction of our young people. We are recasting the narrative and reminding ourselves that our young people are vibrant, energetic, driven, and are making things happen, not just in Ghana, but across the globe. And it's a celebration of that effort. Anisa says, listen, make time once in a while to celebrate us and inspire us to do more. And that's exactly what we are doing. This is Springboard, your virtual university for 16 years and counting, amplifying young people and what they do and creating a platform to mentor, guide, and coach them. This is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation. Our longest lasting sponsor is MTN Ghana. They've been with us for 15 years on this journey. A round of applause for them. And then our other sponsor is the Enterprise Group, also have been with us for quite a while. And this program is powered also by the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard Roadshow Foundation, aimed at exciting young people about decent and fulfilling work, especially in areas that Africa has identified as growth points like agriculture, agribusiness, and ATVET. When we come back from the break, we'll be exploring a bit more with Anisa and Judith. But if you are listening to us and you'd like to find out more about these sectors, about young people and about opportunity, Ghana Grows has a hotline that you can call or WhatsApp to find out more about some of the things that we are sharing right here in the studio. The number to call or WhatsApp 030-8255-775. Just call or WhatsApp and say, put me on board or onboard me. As a result, for free, every single day you will get a text message guiding you a bit at a time as you navigate your way all the way to the top. And if you're a young person aged between 15 and 35, this is your moment. Join this army of young people doing big things for God and for country. Let's go for a break. When we come back, which one brings the cash? The one in class or the one after class? Please don't go away.
Hello? Bye.
Well, everybody's heard about the bird. Bird, bird is the word of the law. Bird is the word of the law. Don't you know about the bird? Well, everybody knows that the bird is the word of the law. Bird is the word of the law.
To consider the implications.
Hello? Everybody knows that the bird is the word of the bird.
Whether it's 1924, 2024, or 2124, we've always known that you are driven by your sense of safety and well-being. It is what drives us to see you through from start to finish, from small to big. And in the last 100 years, as you have evolved, so have we also expanded to serve you in many ways. From cradle to grave, with expertise in insurance, life, pensions, properties, health, and for those beautiful, memorable goodbyes. It's 2024, and in all our markets, our pedigree is recognized, our strength respected, our expertise valued, and our solutions sought by all who desire an advantage in life. Experience the time-tested and truly trusted 100 years legacy of Ghana's oldest insurer. Take charge of your future now. Insurance, life, pensions, property management, funeral services, health insurance. Enterprise for your advantage.
Welcome back to Springboard, your virtual university, and to this exciting conversation with Anisa and Judith, my friends, joining me to celebrate International Youth Day. Just to remind you that Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation and proudly sponsored by MTN Ghana and the Enterprise Group, and powered by the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard Roadshow Foundation. Our Enterprise Advantage tip for today is about personal pension plan. Why do you need a personal pension plan? And Enterprise's response is that retirement is a period in your life where you no longer have the luxury of earned income. Don't forget that Anisa says at the beginning of your journey, you must have the end in mind. And retirement is when you don't have the luxury of end income. So whether you are a formal or informal sector worker, an individual retirement plan ensures that you have the added advantage that offers you a means of financial stability and security. This tip is brought to you by the Enterprise Group. The number to call 030-263-4777. Email info@myenterprisegroup.io. Enterprise, your advantage. So today we celebrate 16 years. Last week, the 4th of August, was exactly 16 years of Springboard, your virtual university. Consistently. Oh my gosh, I clap. 16 years of running this interview every single week for 16 years. And by the grace of God, we keep doing what we do. And we thank you all for making time every single week to have this interaction. Thank you to our sponsors, our partners, both past, present, and future sponsors. We thank you. We also want to thank especially our viewers and listeners for being with us consistently. And we love it that beyond the hour, you spend so much time engaging these thoughts on social media to ensure that these conversations remain alive and relevant for months and years, even after they've been held. And can you imagine, Anisa and Judith, 16 years of doing this consistently?
I would like to ask, from the very first day you had the very first interview you had, did you see yourself doing this for 16 years?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I remember very well, live in the studios of Joy FM, I remember my guest that day was the founder and CEO of FC Group of Companies, FC Perfumery, Grace Amel, being fantastic woman, my fellow colleague from the African Leadership Initiative, West Africa. And the discussion, guess what, as relevant today as it was at the time we did it, the discussion was about a writing done by a Russian philosopher called Leo Tolstoy. He wrote a short story, How Much Land Does a Man Need? How much land does a man need? And how the pursuit of aspirations in life can keep you going and going and going. And at some point, you can cross the line between ambition and greed and lose your values. And in the process, crash in the process. I think the whole thesis was that you must be ambitious, you must be aspirational, but at some point in time, your values must rein you in, and you must know what you will not do, no matter how much money is put on the table. Our values important.
Very important.
Do you find them relevant in the work that you do?
Very, very important.
Wow. And that was the first show. Wow. It was the 4th of August 2008. It was a Monday evening. The next week we came to Sunday, but it was a Monday evening. I remember, and it was a 90-minute program. How much land does a man need? Interesting. Here we are, 16 years after.
No, that's very impressive.
Very impressive.
Thank you. I feel very blessed through all the changing things to keep doing what I do. But let's come back to you. Today, you are the ones who are celebrating. Maybe it's good that on such an occasion we are celebrating young people on the starting phase of your journey, because you may never know. 20 years from today, you may be celebrating and you say, "Well, I never dreamt I'll be doing this after 20 years." Yeah. So let's talk about the question I threw up before we went on the break. You were laughing. You said, which, in your opinion, and there's no right or wrong answer, in your opinion, the things you learned in class and the things you've learned after school, which one is making you more money? Let's start from you, Judith. Which one is making you more money?
Hey, in all fairness, I would say currently what I'm doing, I didn't learn in school, but I also not displace the place of what I learned in school, because most of the things that I'm doing now, if I didn't get the foundation from there, like I said, my background is in agriculture. I'm still in agriculture. What I'm doing is still agriculture. So I'm sort of applying, learning as I go. So yes, I would say, for me, I would say it's a combination of both. What's that?
You have a background in politics. Let's come to you, Anisa. What you learned in school and what you learned after school, the reality of which one is giving you more cash?
Oh, the reality is that what actually pursued, not in relation to what I studied in school, is what is actually earning me more money. That's the reality.
Yeah.
But like my colleague shared earlier, the foundations we built from uni became the stepping stones that actually paved way for other opportunities. So whichever opportunity you find next, it should sort of relate to what you already built from scratch. So,
And that's what they call a symphony.
yeah.
It's a beautiful word. It reminds of an orchestra.
Yes.
Do you find, Anisa, that life itself is sometimes like an orchestra?
Yes.
Pieces that you don't really, like a jigsaw puzzle of sorts, a kaleidoscope, don't make sense. But when they begin to come together, you're like, no wonder we're learning this. Tell me about something like that. A symphony. Pieces of life that come together, then something that happened 10 years ago, 5 years ago makes sense.
So like I shared with where I started from, I mean, a young girl trying to also make ends meet, and then you get opportunity to become a web developer. Of course, you hear now the world is becoming more technological, right? There is AI. How are you helping yourself? I was like, oh, okay. This is also a way for me to make something of myself so that I could also catch up with the current trend. And when they say somebody mentions AI, you won't go and ask what is AI, right? You're also informed. So seeing how when you sit back and you look at it, braiding, web development, how does it relate? But then web development actually relates to my future prospect, the career I want to pursue. So like I was saying, you should see the end in the beginning. So if that web development is paving way for me to actually pursue a career I want and I see as a means to impacting other people's lives, then that's where the symphony comes in. So you wouldn't play with either because you see the correlation amongst the two.
Symphony, correlation, a marriage between what you learned in school and what you are learning after school coming together to make you cash. Those are the thoughts of my two friends in the studios today on Springboard, your virtual university. Anisa Danso and Judith Akwetey. Aram and then
Abna and Saba.
I love middle names. So these are my friends helping me celebrate International Youth Day, celebrating young people. Are you a young person? What are you doing that is exciting that the world should know about? Listen, go on the thread of this broadcast on Facebook, on YouTube. Just write, my name is this. This is what I do. We will randomly select anyone, and you know our history. That could be the game changer for the rest of your life. Today, as we celebrate International Youth Day, just go on the thread of this broadcast and write your name and what you do. Listen, tell your friends, tell their friends to write their names. It may just be the best day of your life. Yeah. That's what you love to do. Use our platform to amplify youth agency and youth voice. The big things young people are doing. And the more the world looks in that direction, the more surprised people get at how absolutely brilliant and amazing our young people are. Let me come to you, Judith. Let's talk about technology. It's on one side something that people are excited about, and on one side something people are scared about. Should they be scared?
I don't think so, because technology isn't something to be afraid of. I feel like change always, there's always an inertia when it comes to change. Almost all the time, people respond hesitant when it comes to change. So it's normal if you are skeptical, unsure when it comes to technology and everything. But I feel like even in the midst of your skepticism, you should still be ready to embrace it, because it's changing the world. And if you want to continue being in the world, you should be ready to change with the times. So, yeah, that's what I think.
What's your own experience with tech? Which parts of technology have you become comfortable with that you were previously afraid of? Let's encourage and inspire a young lady listening out there to say, listen, ask more questions. Just get in there. You'll be surprised at what you could find out. What is your journey like in the area of technology?
Okay. So I would say, personally, if I'm being honest, I wouldn't say there's any part of technology I've been afraid of, because right from school, maybe senior high school, uni. I think the university environment itself is a very technological, advancing environment. So once you get there, you are exposed to varied forms of technology. I think, okay, let me share this. I think during the university, I was in the University of Ghana. The very first time we had to use an online platform, we called it Sakai. So we used it to take exams and tests and quizzes and stuff like that. I remember the first time we had to do something like that, I was like, what's this? Because it's usually timed. So let's say there's a quiz, there's a set time. Once you punch in your first answer, it's gone. You can't go back. It's done. The next question comes, you answer, it's done. You can't change anything. You can't correct anything. So if the answer you have put in there is wrong, it's wrong. You can't do anything about it.
It's life sometimes not like that.
Yes. So I remember the very first time I was like, no. This thing is something. I don't like this. But it was what it is at the time. So I had to adjust. And I remember when I adjusted, I felt like, okay, it's cool. It's not bad. And currently, right now, that's what they are using the university now.
Like, listen, when American and British visa system went online, all those who used to call somebody, fill the form for me, and they said online, they can't do it. Listen, if you don't do, you can't travel.
You can't.
Suddenly, they learn how to do it. People have no choice. They embrace technology. And Judith, you are saying that the exam model, the approach was initially not very nice.
Not very
time
nice.
became comfortable.
Yes, actually.
And that's a secret.
Yes,
time became comfortable. Let's come to you, Anisa. Technology. Which part of it are you most familiar with, and what's the journey like?
Oh, so like I've been sharing, it's basically web development. That's what right now my specialty is in when it comes to technology. But moving forward with my career prospects, which is environmental engineering, then I'll become more into technology, like the tougher aspects of technology.
Do you let's talk about mentoring. Do you find yourself sometimes trying to shadow or be mentored by somebody who's ahead in the fields that you are in to find out what they've done? Has it worked for you?
Yes.
Mentoring. Tell me about the mentoring experience.
So she's not the only person who actually likes to do research. My whole life, when I don't know something, I always want to find ways and means to get to know exactly what it is. So even with wanting to pursue environmental engineering, there's been several individuals that I don't know. I mean, I've used LinkedIn as a platform to actually reach out to people, like-minded individuals, not just anybody. There are people who are also looking to network, but not the sort of networking we are talking about. So using LinkedIn as a platform, you write to people to get their input. You know, sometimes you become very confused because when you look at certain universities and then their requirements for application, when you look at it, you'll be like, oh, I don't really match with what they are requiring. But then when you go further to ask people who are actually in that field, they can advise. Sometimes you become very unsure as to what you really want to do. Because when it comes to environmental engineering, it's also very broad in itself. There are several aspects of it. There is water engineering, there is soil engineering. So you tend to think about it and you realize, which one actually do I want to do? Do I want to do the whole broad thing, like you're doing a broad environmental science? Now you want to do specialization engineering, you're also going to do a whole broad environmental engineering. So mentoring, talking with people, like it's really powerful
to navigate a complex
world.
To use words like confusion and so on. Yes. All right, so let's talk about fellowships. Let's talk about institutional mentoring arrangements like MasterCard Foundation has, like Cosmos, like MEST. I recall that earlier in my career, I had a very brilliant opportunity, both Comfort and I actually, with Empretech Ghana. At the time, it was the leading entrepreneurial mentoring program, and everyone who was doing well in business had to go through Empretech at the time. And with the benefit of hindsight, it was a great addition to what contributed to me becoming who I am today in terms of entrepreneurship and business. So tell me about your own experience with MasterCard Foundation, with MEST, with Cosmos, and how it has shaped you into the confident, articulate young woman that you are. Let's start with you, Judith.
Okay, so I've actually also done some short program. I think it was organized by MEST. It was in collaboration with ABSA Bank. So they were just helping already established enterprises in different forms. So in general, I'll say that it's been very helpful. Like you mentioned, Cosmos Innovation. So in the beginning, Cosmos helped. So our very first co-founders, Cosmos helped them. So they met over there, they groomed them, they took them through varied trainings, teaching them how to pitch, how to, draw out business plans, business models, different aspects of that. And they finally were able to pitch and then got the grant money. And I think after that, MEST has also helped us, ABSA in partnership with them. So all these are ways by which all these, foundations are helping, young enterprises in the country. And I'll say kudos to them for all they are doing so far. Yeah.
Right, and to Massacre Foundation that funds them, that supports them, partners with them to make it happen.
Yes,
obviously, that's also a very big.
Because most of these things are basically free. We do not pay for most of these engagements. It's basically free. They help you, prepare you. Then afterwards, some of them allow you to pitch. You present your ideas, and then they give you some grants, some form of equity, and different forms of financial investment. Am I lucky?
It's a trick question. Are you lucky?
Am I lucky? Now I'm lucky. I don't know what lucky means. I'll just say I'm graced, I'm favored. So I prefer that. Yes, I'm favored, I'm graced, I'm blessed.
So beyond the role of grace, would you say that something that you also did took advantage of for the grace of it?
Of course, yes. When the opportunities come, be willing to embrace them. Currently, one of Luther, that's our CEO, he applied for a fellowship, Mandela Washington Fellowship, which was, seeking out young entrepreneurs to, mentor them and then give them. And he's currently in the US right now. 3 months, fellowship, fully sponsored. Coming back with fresh ideas to help the business. So, yeah.
My friend Elsland, it was something, aka Ajagublishi, talks about the fact that somebody encouraged her to apply for the Mandela Washington Fellowship, and the person chased her till she applied 5 minutes to the deadline, and she got it, and it changed her life completely.
Wow.
So I'm thinking of her, and just to remind people that another reason why you must write on the thread of this conversation who you are and what you do. It just might be the game changer for the rest of your life. Let me come to you for your closing thoughts. Anisa, tell me the benefit of opportunity, engagement, partnership, being in the right spaces, and how it can change the course of your life.
Yeah.
Talking about opportunity, I think I share this idea that it's not easy to identify an opportunity, because sometimes some opportunities look catchy, but they're actually clothed in some devious schemes and all that. So being able to identify an opportunity is actually a skill that as an individual you need to have, because you need to look, research, right? Somebody can just easily send this to you, apply. There are some that are scams. There are some that are genuinely true, but because maybe you've been scammed before, you might overlook the opportunity that comes. So being able to actually investigate the truth for yourself is a skill that as an individual you need to possess. That way, when you see an opportunity, you can differentiate between what is right and what is not. And then again, talking about opportunities, one thing that young people do is that they are waiting for opportunities to fall at their feet.
What should they do differently?
They should create opportunities.
Create. I'm going to give you a chance to talk to your colleague young people, and as part of amplifying youth voice, really, we who are no longer in the 15 to 35 bracket would not even arrogate to ourselves the power to talk to young people on International Youth Day. I'm going to come to you in a minute
Yeah.
talk to your colleague, young people, and just in a minute, share something that will be inspiring for them on the occasion of International Youth Day. My own personal contribution to International Youth Day is to say thank you to you, Anisa Danso, builder of websites, graphic designer, and then builder of people's hair for making time to be on the show.
Thank you so
And
much.
to Abuna Ansava Danso for making time to join us in this conversation. And to you, of course, Judith Aram Akwetey, who is also into AgriMercab. They use gogomi and waste products to build fertilizer and other agri-business products. You just are exciting, articulate, confident, and headed for the top. And here on Springboard, your virtual university, the least we can do is to give you a book each as a token to just say thanks for blazing the trail, trying hard to make your contribution. Your story may just be beginning, but the highlights of a good story are in there. So the day you launch your book one day about the big thing you've done, call us, we'll come and celebrate with you. So this is for you. This is 1,001 tips to for an outstanding life. And that goes to you, Anisa. And then this is on the snakes and ladders. It goes to you.
Thank you very
Judith,
much.
and a round of applause for
Thank
what
you.
you're doing.
Thank
So
you
from us
so
here at
much.
Springboard, thank you for what you do. And
Thank you
for
so much.
representing the young people so well. You've spoken very well for the young people.
Thank you very
And
much.
look into this camera, each of you one, and starting with you, Judith, and then after that you, Anisa. Just for a minute, share something exciting with your young friends out there. This is a pitching level 2.
I would want to say that to be a young person is a very huge privilege, and we should count ourselves very lucky or very blessed to be young. And I would also say that there are a lot of opportunities that surround us as young people. I think one of the things that unfortunately a lot of people or young people think is that, we are not being helped, we are being marginalized and whatsoever. But I would like to change that narrative. It's not true. There are a lot of opportunities out there for young people. Consider what MasterCard Foundation is doing, helping a lot of young people, like all across the country, all across the world. So I would like to say that find out, do your research, find out who is helping, who is reaching out to young people, and make sure that you're in a position to be helped. So that's what I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I love this. Let me just listen first to Anisa and I'll tell you something to close.
Okay, so to everyone listening to me out there, I want the young people to believe in one thing, that the youth are full of limitless potentialities. We have lots of potentials. You never know what you can do unless you put yourself out there, unless you avail yourself to be helped, unless you research and find resources, opportunities that are helpful and instrumental to your life. Not just helpful, but you should also be thinking about how what you're doing is significantly contributing to the betterment of the world, to the betterment of your country, because that is all we want, a better economy. So how are you as a young person contributing to that? That should be your thoughts.
Beautifully articulated. And let me just say a big thank you to you, Anisa and Judith, for making time.
Thank you.
Thanks to MasterCard Foundation for facilitating the opportunity for us to have this conversation. And thanks to all young people doing big things out there on International Youth Day. Let me borrow from one of our sponsors, our long-standing sponsors, MTN Ghana, whose values include the can-do. The can-do. And I want to dedicate this to all the young people. You have a can-do spirit. Do big things. So find a young person and ask them, what are you doing today? Do something. And let's celebrate on the next International Youth Day. This has been Springboard, your virtual university, a special International Youth Day 2024 edition. Just talking about young people doing big things in innovation and also in the digital space. But we found time to trace the journey, the learnings, the joys, the pains, and the lessons from my friends Anisa and Judith. My name is Albert Ocran, thanking you on behalf of the Springboard Roadshow Foundation and our sponsors MTN Ghana and the Enterprise Group, our partner, the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard, and of course our media partners, the Multimedia Group and the Graphic Communications Group. So we come your way again next week with a special conversation about finding strength in your moment of grief. My name is Albert, saying God bless you, and God bless you.
Turning point, yeah. He's a turnaround.